Kane Smith here from CaneSmithCopywriter.com, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about working harder, not smarter. It's a topic I recently covered in an email to my list and in a social media post on LinkedIn. It ruffled a few feathers, it upset a few people, it sparked a bit of an interesting debate, and I thought it was a topic well worth covering some more because it's very evergreen, and it's something quite close to my heart actually, and what I believe to be a secret to copywriters getting better at what they do and making more money. Is something I've stumbled upon and discovered, and I think it's well worth covering. The stuff I'm going to talk about in this video is probably very different to what a lot of other people out there are saying, which is why I believe it's all the more valuable, because I think if you do the opposite of what the majority of people are doing, you generally tend to know that you're doing the right thing and you're on the right track. Okay, but before we go any further, a quick introduction. I'm Kane Smith. I'm a direct response copywriter. I write for South Bank Investment Research, okay, the British financial division of the Agora. And my business, Kane Smith Copywriter, helps course creators and coaches get more of their programs into their customers' hands, okay? For those who are experts at what they do, but they hate selling and they're uncomfortable with selling. I'm a salesman. It's what I do. I help them sell more of their programs. If you've not subscribed to the channel already, hit the subscribe button. And now we're going to dive into today's content, okay? Working harder, not smarter. So this topic, I suppose it makes sense if I start at the beginning and cover it briefly to kind of give some context to how I came to produce this video and decide to speak about it. I sent an email to my list earlier this week. It was my daughter's 15th birthday. My daughter Ruby, she turned 15 on Tuesday, the 13th of September. And I was very proud of her because she went to school, and when she finished school, she came home and immediately, no stopping at all, she came home, she changed out of her school uniform into her work uniform, went straight back out the door to this little part-time job she's got across the road. And she worked a 3-hour shift there at her old primary school. She's like an after-school club activities leader. It was like well gone. I think it was nearly 7. It might have been 6:30, 7 p.m. by the time she got home. She showered, she sat down, she had a tea, and it was like that time at the evening, where the three of us, me, my partner Sarah, Ruby, we got to kind of sit down and celebrate Ruby's birthday together. And Ruby had got up early that morning at like 6 in the morning and kind of opened her presents and cards then. I just thought, 15 years old with that kind of work ethic, I was very proud of her. And I thought she's putting most adults to shame here. I know that there are adults who, when it's their birthday, they just seem to want to give up on life for the day. Oh, it's my birthday, I don't have to do that. Oh, it's my birthday, I don't have to lift a finger. Oh, it's my birthday, give me special treatment. I don't relate to that type of person. I feel like adults who behave like that, they're behaving like children. Like I said in my email to my list, like, what are you, 5? And my daughter at 15, who is kind of, working harder and being more mature than a lot of adults, in a way that adults don't seem to behave this way on the birthday. And my daughter dug in and worked very hard on her birthday, and I was very proud of her. And it got me thinking, she works harder than most adults, certainly most copywriters, because most copywriters I know are lazy. They are lazy. And I blame it on what Dan Kennedy calls the no work porn. That's so common these days. We're all sold this dream of, the 4-hour work week, work from anywhere in the world on a hammock on the beach, a few hours a week, like send a couple of emails a day, you're done in half an hour and you can make loads of money and stuff. And I have no doubt that there are people who are living that lifestyle. But in order to have accomplished that lifestyle, they had to get good at what they were doing first. And they probably put in an inhuman amount of work at the beginning in order to get so good that they could kind of step back and pare things back. So it got me thinking about my situation and how I discovered I was a content writer from 2018. That's the first time I wrote anything professionally. I started writing content in 2018. I was writing articles, really crappy SEO articles. Then I moved on to blog posts. It wasn't until 2020 that I kind of switched from content more towards sales copywriting, and I started writing for SaaS and tech businesses. And here we are, at the time of this recording, it's September 2022, and I'm fully on track. By the time this year is out, I will have posted a 6-figure year finally. And so it's taken me kind of just over 2 years to get there, from kind of really getting serious about sales, copywriting, and knuckling down in this career. It's taken me 2 years to get here. I'm fully aware some people have accomplished it faster than that, but it's pretty fast. And I know, just from speaking to other copywriters and seeing the kind of messages that are posted on boards and in communities and on social media channels, like this is a very desirable thing. Like a lot of copywriters want to earn a 6-figure income whilst working from home, and not having to kind of, put on a uniform and head out the door and work in a career that's not creative. And like it's cool, but I've had to, and I'm very much continuing having to, work extremely hard. And when I say work hard, I mean long hours, lots of time, actually doing, actually writing copy. I spend a lot of time writing, a lot of time thinking, a lot of time researching, just a lot of time under the bar. Okay. And this is what I mean. Like, I think it would behoove the vast majority of copywriters to just put in more time. And when I say this, I'm met with so much resistance, even from people who aren't copywriters, who say, no, that's nonsense. It's people like you who are kind of propagating this toxic hustle culture. People burn out listening to people like you. People like you are stupid. You have to work hard to make up for your lack of brains. And people working, you should focus on being more efficient and working smart rather than working harder and doing more. And where I think people get confused is, I'm not talking about time management here. I've been a manager. Before I was a copywriter, I was a manager. I managed a team of 50 people across 3 different departments. I only had 8 hours a day to do it. And this was where working smarter was crucial. Like working more, putting in more time, more hours would have been foolish. It would have burned me out, and it wouldn't have got me any further. I had to learn to use those 8 hours and use them as smartly and efficiently as I could to kind of wring every last drop out of every last minute. So when we're talking about kind of basic time management, and if you're a manager of people or a manager of processes, and working smarter, not harder, is absolutely the way to go, and it makes perfect sense. I'm not talking about time management. I'm talking about mastering a skill. I'm talking about becoming the best possible copywriter you can be. And the only way to do it is by doing it more. It's volume. This is a volume game, high volume, put in the reps. If I'm writing 3 emails a day and you're only writing 1 email a day, I am going to be a better copywriter than you. Like, this isn't, in my world, this isn't even up for debate. And that there are people who will still argue with that and say, well, what if my 1 email is so brilliantly, sharply refined compared to your, like, it just doesn't work like that. You get better by putting in the reps, spending time under the bar. This is probably the most crucial point, the most crucial takeaway you could get from this video. All right. I learned very early on, a couple of years ago, I was kind of seeing the lie of the land. And I learned that follow what people do or what people have done rather than what they say they do. I honestly don't really listen to what people say. I'm much more interested in what people do. Like, if someone says, I have done this, and they have actually done it, I'll listen to them all day long. But like, social media is just full of garbage. It's just people who haven't really accomplished much, just throwing their opinions out there so they can feel like somebody for 5 minutes. And then when you look at what they're actually doing, they're not really doing much. They're not accomplishing much. I won't listen to people who are less successful than me if they're trying to tell me how to be more successful at what I'm doing. I'll listen to people who are as successful as me, because they might be coming at it from a slightly different perspective and have insights I haven't seen before. I'll certainly listen to people who are more successful than me. And if they're giving me advice on how to be more successful at what I'm doing, I'll listen to them. Although I'll pay more attention to what they've done rather than what they're telling me to do right now. But people who are like less successful than me at what I'm doing, and they're telling me how to be more, like, it's not listening to them. Like, their opinions do not matter to me. And you've got to learn to be tough enough to do that. Like, society now is telling us that be kind, be nice. Everyone's opinion is valued. Everyone has a voice. Everyone has the rights to have an opinion on this stuff. And like, yes, they do have the right to have an opinion, but I'm not trying to suppress their opinion or cancel their opinion. I don't believe in cancel culture. That's the furthest thing from what I believe in. But I'm not going to listen to you. Like, I can choose to just not value your opinion. Say what you want. I'm not going to stop you from saying it, but don't force me to listen or try to force me to listen, because I'm not going to. Like, be discriminate. Be discriminate about where you get your information from. And this is all part of the kind of the work harder, not smarter thing. Follow the anecdotal evidence. If you've ever read the book Over Deliver by Brian Kurtz, there's a great chapter on there where he talks about following anecdotal evidence. And that's just almost like a fancy way of saying use your common sense. People want to talk about facts, statistics, data, figures. Like these can always be countered by, an argument on the other side. Just follow the anecdotal evidence. I will listen to stories, people who say, I did this and it gave me this result. And, I don't know how or why, but all I know is that I did this and it worked. And obviously if I trust that person and I believe that what, they say they did, they actually did, I'm going to listen to that all day long, and I'm going to take that on board, and I'm going to value that information a hell of a lot more than people citing studies and statistics and stuff like this. Like the whole 8-hour sleep a night thing, we governments say sleep 8 hours a night. All these health agencies tell you to sleep 8 hours a night. It's like this universally accepted truth. I don't sleep 8 hours a night and I'm fine. I've got tons of energy. I'm super productive. I'm healthy. I'm fit. I'm strong. I don't need 8 hours sleep a night. I'm not recommending, how much do I get? Probably 6, maybe 6.5. And I function great. Would I function better on 8? I don't know. I don't even know if I'm physically capable of sleeping 8 hours. I don't think I could. I think I would wake up before I've done 8 hours sleep. But it doesn't matter. Go with what works for you. Experiment with stuff, and don't just blindly follow the herd because people say that's the way things should be done. Like I said right at the start of this video, if everybody's doing one thing, you will probably have more success doing the opposite, because the vast majority of people are not successful, or they're not successful at your specific thing. Like, I want to become an awesome copywriter so that I can make a lot of money. That's my ambition. I'm very financially driven, as you probably are listening to this. I know a lot of people like to deny money doesn't matter, but most copywriters are pretty obsessed with money, because I see it all the time. That again, I go off what people do. I'm seeing their behavior. They're very financially driven. So I don't kind of follow what everyone else does, because there aren't that many successful copywriters. I would rather kind of do what other people are doing and think, right, well, that's working for them, or that has worked for them, and they're in the minority. It kind of means they're doing something right. I'll give you another example. In the bodybuilding world, there was a South African bodybuilder called Barney Duplessis. All right, he was very successful. I think he won the Mr. Universe championships a few times. Huge guy, 230, 240 pounds, absolutely ripped. Superhero physique. And then he turned vegan very late in his career. So he'd built this physique, he'd won all these titles, and then he turned vegan, and he was preaching to the world, stop eating all this animal protein. It's harming the environment, and most crucially of all, you don't need it. You can be an absolutely awesome bodybuilder and build a freaky amount of muscle mass by eating vegan products. Everything the body needs, you can still get from vegan products. Naturally, of course, he's selling vegan nutritional products, vegan nutritional supplements. Don't blame the guy, fair play. But he's preaching this whole veganism thing. Look at me now. I've never looked better, or I look exactly as good as I did when I was eating all this meat. Look, the proof is in the pudding. Look at me, and I'm a vegan. You spent 20 years of your career eating a stupendous amount of animal protein, beef, eggs, chicken, etc. Whey protein shakes, which is derived from milk, which is of course derived from a cow, so it's an animal product. You didn't build that championship winning physique by consuming all these vegan products. Like, you're doing it now that you've built up that base. And this, coming back to the whole work harder, not smarter thing, working smart is a very advanced skill, and you need to work hard first, high volume, lots of time, put in the reps to get really good at what you do. Once you reach a certain level, to the point where working any harder is just going to give you diminishing returns, you can start becoming more efficient. You pretty much almost mastered what you're doing already, and you can start scaling back and saying, right, how can I strip this down? How can I get the same amount of work done in less time? And so, like, working smart, if you've put in the reps to master your skill or come close to master, maybe there is no such thing as true mastery, but if you've got really good at something because you've done a lot of it, you've worked very, very hard, you can reach a certain level, you can start saying, right, I'm going to start taking a step back now. I want to do less. How can I be, more efficient with my time? How can I work smarter? Like, a lot of copywriters try to work smart before they've worked hard. It will hold them back. It is holding them back. I'm seeing it. People who, want to just kind of do it for 10 hours a week, you're not going to get the same results as someone who's working 40 hours a week. But there are copywriters who are deluding themselves, thinking, no, because I'm working smart, whereas they're dumb. They're working themselves into the ground. Yes, they're doing lots, but I'm just going to really focus on the things that matter, and I'm going to get more done in 10 hours than they get in 40. You're not a manager. This isn't time management. This is mastery of a skill. Volume counts, repetitions counts. You will burn this into your brain by doing lots of it. Okay, an Olympic athlete trains practically every day. They do a morning session, they do an evening session. It's volume, like muscle memory. They're kind of burning it into the neurons. You've got to do this with copywriting. This is how I've got really good at copywriting really fast. I've started this game so much later than other people, but I've progressed so much further and so much faster than other people already because I've put in a crazy amount of time doing it. I appreciate this isn't for everyone, and again, just follow what people do, though. Don't just go for what they say. There's a guy I have a huge amount of respect for. He's a fantastic person who said to me, "You're working too much. I'm worried you're going to burn out." And I said, the highest amount of respect for this person, and he's coming from a place of genuine compassion, like he cares. But this is a guy who very successful copywriter, but early in his career, when he was kind of where I was now, he was working a crazy amount of hours. He's very open about that and says it often. And he got very good at what he did by working a lot of hours and by really putting the time in. And then he reached a certain level of expertise and skill where he could kind of start managing his time more differently. And he was like leveraging his time better because he had all this knowledge and ability that he'd accumulated through very high volume and lots of reps in the early days. So again, as much as I appreciated his advice, and I appreciated, the heart and the concern behind his advice, I thought, I'm going to look at what you did, though, rather than what you're telling me now. It's the Barney Duplessis bodybuilder thing, spend 20 years eating lots of animal protein to build the physique you've got, and then say, don't eat animal protein, eat vegan protein instead. No, I'm going to look at what you did to get to where you are now, because that's clearly the thing that works. You might be singing a different tune now, because that's what you've kind of adapted to and refined to at this stage in your career. But I haven't reached that level yet. And in order to reach that level, I'm going to do what you did originally, which was work insanely hard. I'm seeing it happen in front of my eyes. I'm deeply entrenched in the industry. I'm seeing, some of the best in the world here, and I'm seeing what they did. I'm seeing what they do now. The two things don't always tally up. But there are some people who are still working as insanely hard now as they did in the early days. Hard work, it basically is the common denominating factor. And so many copywriters just don't want to believe this. They want the 4-hour work week. They want to lie in the beach hammock. And it's like a knife to the heart when I tell them, look, you're not going to get very far doing that. No one does. Just look around you. There are so many copywriters moaning about money, moaning about not getting clients, moaning about clients not respecting them and paying them their worth. Everyone's kind of looking for the secret. The secret is work hard. You will be doing something that hardly anybody else is doing. society is actively discouraging you from working hard. Like this toxic hustle culture. Don't work hard. You're going to burn yourself out. It's unhealthy. Work-life balance, spend more time, focus, look after yourself, self-care. Working is harmful. It's bad for you. Like working is dumb. Dumb people work hard. There's all this nonsense being peddled. Like focus on what you want in life and go after it full pelt. If you want to be a really, really good copywriter and you want to earn very good money from being a copywriter, I just work hard. It's worked for me so far in my career, and I've seen it happen with lots of other successful copywriters. It's definitely been, a huge factor in their success. They've just outworked their competition. Like if you're just willing to kind of do what the other person isn't willing to do, you have a huge competitive advantage. The vast majority of copywriters do not work hard, and that's why the vast majority of copywriters are not successful, and they're not earning the kind of money they want to earn, and they're not working with the kind of clients they want to work with. So there you go. And the final point I want to make on this as well, right, is if you're listening to this and you're getting really wound up and thinking, oh, well, that's all very well and good for you, Kane. I don't have loads of time. I've got young kids, I've got a sick parent to look after, I've got all these responsibilities. I get it, right? Okay, like I'm not saying work 70 hours a week like a crazy person. Like if you can only spare 10 hours a week to your craft, then that, that's the maximum you can do. It's a bit like what your mum and dad used to say to me as a kid, like just so long as you try your best, just use the absolute most time you can to get in the absolute maximum amount of practice you can every single day, every single week. Be disciplined, push yourself, force yourself to do it. If you've got an hour, the simple one is, I mentioned sleep before. Do you really need 8-9 hours sleep a night? Can you not just function on 7, get up 1 hour earlier and use that 1 hour to write copy? You tell me you can't do that? Come on. What about, did you spend like 2 hours watching Netflix at night? Oh, I need this to relax. I can't possibly function as a human being without watching 2 hours of Netflix. Bullshit, right? Be disciplined. Watch half an hour of Netflix. Watch one episode of that program you like, and then spend the other 90 minutes writing copy. Don't want to do it? Sounds like hard work. Yeah, it is. Does it make you a lazy person for not wanting to do it? Maybe. Or not necessarily, I don't know. But this is the difference. This is what separates the people who are really dedicated and really willing to put in the reps and improve versus the people who are just kind of coasting and making excuses. But I can't. My situation is so unique and so different to yours. Okay, I have a missus, I have a daughter, I have bills to pay and responsibilities. I have a family. I have a lot of different interests going on at once. I feel overwhelmed every bloody day. But I'm getting better all the time because I'm just putting in the work. It's happening for me. It's like physically happening. I can see it happening. The good things are happening because I'm putting in the work. I'm seeing it happening with other people. I urge you to do the same. So that's it. A bit of a rant this week. I just thought it was a topic well worth covering because I really believe that if you kind of apply, if you take the message, I don't know how successfully I've managed to get this message across, but if you can take this message and run with it, and don't feel weird and think, oh my God, I'm working really hard and society says that this is stupid and I'm just a hamster on a wheel. Just look at what the rest of society is doing. The rest of society, the ones who aren't working very hard, they're not really mastering their craft. They're not really getting better at their skill. The minority of people who are ignoring all that noise and just focusing on themselves and putting in the time and the effort and really grafting for the results, they're the people getting the results that the other people are all bitter and jealous about and wish they could get themselves, but they're just not willing to do what the other group are. That's it. Hope you enjoyed this video. Maybe it made you angry, maybe you disagree with me, whatever. Put your comments below whether you agree with me or disagree with me. I'd love to hear what you think about this because it is quite a provocative subject. Like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.